Hi there, good evening, and welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show. I want to welcome you here on Saturday night to What's New. This is a show where I pick an album released in 2026. On What's New, we only do the albums that are not prog. The prog ones are done on the new prog album show. So today we're doing an album by a band called Black Swan. This is their Paralyzed album, their second studio album by this group. I'm going to need my glasses for this, so we're going to just grab them now. So this was released February the 13th, 26, so a month ago yesterday. It's recorded at Pilson's Los Angeles studio. It's about 53 minutes or so, probably closer to 54 minutes in length, on the Frontier Music label and produced by Jeff Pilson. So this band is basically a super band. That's what they would call a super band. Anyways, members of this band, all four of them have played with some fairly well-known rock bands in the past. Jeff Pilson on bass. He also does. He's also from Foreigner and the End Machine, and has played with Dokken as well. Matt Starr on drums from Ace Frehley and Mr. Big. Rob Beach on guitar, Winger and Whitesnake. And last but not least, Robin McCauley on lead vocals from the Michael Schenker Group. So we have pretty strong. About this album, it's a hard rock metal. I would say it's probably more on the metal side than on the hard rock. Definitely has that metal sound to it. The vocals are very good, very strong vocals here, mid-range to high range for most of the songs, but well controlled, very clear, very smooth for the most part. Some raspy parts at times, but that adds a little bit to the muscle of the songs, I believe. The guitar is really good. At times, very fast, heavy, machine gun-like. Other times, very slow, melodic, heavy. The solos are tasty and really good at fitting into the song, I found. That's really excellent. The vocals overall have a kind of, at times they got a kind of a hint of that Scorpions vocal sound. That I don't know that he necessarily sounds like Klaus Meine, but he definitely has that kind of inflection, and he's in that same range at times too. So really strong vocal parts here. Overall, it's got a bit of a commercial sound to it, but definitely in the heavy metal realm. It kind of weaves in and out of that kind of commercial sounds, like something like Whitesnake would do. But this band has a distinct sound of its own. It doesn't really remind me of any other band. There are elements from other bands that I hear here as far as typical metal sounds and typical this and that, but they forged their own sound definitely here. So overall, there are 11 tracks on this album. Starts out with When the Cold Wind Blows. This is a little over 5-minute track. Very atmospheric synthesizers opening, creating that atmosphere. Melodic, heavy guitar. There's a bit of a heavy picking metal sound here on the guitar as well. Heavy riff part. The vocals, mid-range, heavy, clear. This is a hard rock, the classic metal sound here. Probably a little bit more on the metal sound, and is a fast-paced, up-tempo riff. The solo is fast and high, so it's a typical metal song, but a good one. I think this is a good opening for them on this album. Next up is Death of Me. Not one of the stronger tracks on here, but still pretty good. Opens with a slow melodic sound. The solo part is winding throughout. It goes on throughout the entire track. Definitely a heavy metal sounding track. Got the vocals, of course, are a little bit on the mid-range to high sounding metal vocals. Catchy riff and chorus. The chorus is one of the more noticeable choruses on the album. It's got a bit of a slow melodic guitar solo, intermittent with solo parts, little bits of stuff going on from behind it. Very commercial metal sound, melodic heavy riff and solo at the back end as well. But not one of the more memorable tracks. Same with Different Kind of Woman. This one has a drum riff part that opens it. That's the only thing that's kind of noticeable about the song for me. She's very short, cut type riftings parts. The vocals, medium to high range, metal, up-tempo rhythm guitar parts. It's a very commercial sounding rock song. So the last two, Death by Me and Different Kind of Women, kind of a commercial sound going on here. The next track out is If I Was King. This is a little better than those two. It's got a high droning guitar riff with a distorted high-pitched guitar sound. It does pick up speed, and the guitar riffing gets a little heavier and a little bit catchier. The vocals are clear but husky, kind of in the mid-range to high-range sound. It does get distorted. Gets that distorted heavy metal sound on the solo. And there is a little bit of a synthesizer feel here towards the back end of the song. The vocals are a little bit on the low end there as well. So we're going to flip over here and we're going to do the back half of this. So Shakedown is the next song, another kind of weaker track, one of the weaker tracks on the album, I think. So they've got like about 4 or 5 tracks I think are a little on the weaker side, some that are a little better than that, and then a couple of really good tracks too. So this is a heavy commercial sounding opening. The vocals have that almost that scorpion-like feel to them here. This is where I first kind of noticed that. Nice commercial riff on this song. The backing vocals are a little bit more prominent than the previous 4 tracks. Next down is the Fire and the Flame. This is one of the stronger tracks on the album. There's like 2 or 3 of them that are pretty strong. This is one of them. Kind of a fast-paced guitar riff with a metal solo to open. Vocals low to medium range. Again, definitely has that Scorpions feel to it. The song is up-tempo, hard rock, metal sound. It does drop off at a point during the back half of the song. Again, the vocals become a little more dominant here, and then it jumps back up to end the song. This is a more memorable track and a pretty solid one, I think. Next up is I'm Ready. This is one of the longer tracks on the album. I think there's 2 or 3 of them over 5 minutes. This is one of them, pretty close to 6 minutes, this track actually. It's got a slow, low end, almost a ballad-like track. The vocals are mid-range to high end. The riff is slow, melodic, high, but the guitar is at the high end of the sound. The backing vocals on this are more prominent than some of the other songs as well. But to me, it's definitely in the vocal ballad range sound. Next up is Paralyzed. So this is the title track, and we all know how I feel about that. And it is, to me, clearly the best song on the album. And so if you're going to name your album after a song and it's your best song, I think it should come out of the gate. That's just me. You can choose what you want. It's a fast-paced, up-tempo guitar riff, really cool. Vocals are heavy, forced, almost a heavy, catchy, pushy kind of sound to the vocal parts here. It's a catchy track. The solo is definitely metal-driven, high-end, fast-paced. It does have, despite all its kind of fast-pacedness to it, it does have a kind of a sad feeling to the song. But I think it's definitely their best track. I don't think for me, there's no real argument about it. It was the only one I gave a 7. The rest were 6.5s or less. Next up is Carry On. So it's a bit of a shorter track, just under 4 minutes. Another fast-paced, low-end sounding guitar riff. It does become more heavy, heavy metal, straight heavy metal. I knew I would get it right at some point, but it's very forward. The vocals are catchy and strong. There's kind of a machine gun-like feel to the guitar throughout this song. It's periodically comes back and forth in. It's really quite good. I like it. This is another one of the better songs on the album. The last two tracks are both over 5 minutes. Battered and Bruised is the second to last track. It's got a kind of a windy guitar sound, turns to a melodic guitar riff with a kind of a scrapey second guitar in the background that's just barely audible. It's there, I think, to try to give it some background depth and to try to take away some of the thinness of the song. The vocals are typical of him. Slow guitar, melodic sounding throughout the track. It's got a bit of a whiny guitar solo that's continuous and periodical throughout the track as well. The last track on the album is kind of a weak ending. It's not the best of songs. There's like 3 or 4 of these songs on the album where it kind of dips below what I think is what they're capable of. It opens with a nice bass part. That part is good. The riff kicks in and it's melodic. Then you have a vocal which is kind of a bit on the husky side here, not as clear sounding as some of his other vocals, but definitely in the mid to high range. The song picks up tempo but remains overall a slow melodic track. Feels commercial. There's definitely a commercial element to this song. It's catchy, broken, chopped, riffed. It's not a smooth riff. It's kind of broken in parts. The solo is heavy. Definitely a heavy metal solo, fast, typical sounding of heavy metal solos. The song breaks up into instrumental parts towards the back where everybody's doing a little bit of their own part. So you'll get it doesn't stop, but it kind of slows down and you'll get a bass part and a drum part, and then you get the guitar part, and then they all kind of go back together. It's not a forgetful song. I just don't particularly find anything great about the song. It's not a song like I could hear all the different parts. I found it interesting, but I just didn't. It's just not a song that resonates very well with me, I guess. But overall, it's a strong album. Definitely have their own sound. That's the part that I wasn't sure was going to be the case. I thought with all these different bands, they're going to sound a little bit like Whitesnake. They might have a little bit like Michael Schenker Group, and they do have a little bit of each of these in, but they definitely have developed their own sound. I'm not a big fan of Dokken, so I was expecting that to be a bit of a negative, but I don't think it affected anything here. So yeah, really pretty strong album. I'm finally glad to get it in here. Had problems with it earlier on when I was trying to do it, basically time, and because it's a bit of a longer album, I had to choose something a little bit shorter so I could get it in. But this one won't be a problem tonight. So that's the album for today, Black Swan's Paralyzed, released February the 13th. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want, you can leave comments about this album or about the band or about the other bands that these guys played for, or about the individuals, whatever you want to do. Put that in the comment section, and I will see you all next week for another episode of What's New. Take care and good night.